Okay, hear me out for a second. What if a big Nintendo fighting game actually got Nintendo characters added as DLC? Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and this time we're going to be talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and the DLC that will eventually be coming. Sure, with the Fighter's Pass there is that 5th character, and we don't quite know who it is yet. But we also know about the DLC that is coming beyond this current Fighter's Pass, that's already been confirmed to have been in development since the September Nintendo Direct. But here's the thing, if you look at the characters we've gotten, Joker, that is a third-party character from Persona, Atlas, Sega, from them, right? Then you have Hero, Dragon Quest from Square Enix. Then you have Banjo and Kazooie. Banjo and Kazooie are from the series Banjo and Kazooie, which is made by Rare, who are now owned by Microsoft. So while they may be associated with Nintendo because of the good old N64 days, they're still also a third-party character. Then you got Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury and King of Fighters. That is all from SNK, another third-party company. None of these characters for the Fighter's Pass are a Nintendo character. Sure, we technically got the Piranha Plant as a bonus DLC, but so far, even if you want to count the Piranha Plant, we are currently 20% Nintendo characters, and that's it. But with the Fighter's Pass, it's all entirely third-party, leading us to believe that the final character will also be third-party. And when we take a look at what Reggie said back at the Game Awards for 2018, he suggested that all of the characters would be entirely new to the Smash Bros. Series.
These are going to be characters that are new to the series, just like Joker from Persona 5, yes. Characters that you would not anticipate to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Implying that they basically would have to be third-party characters, because pretty much every single Nintendo franchise is in Smash Ultimate to some degree, whether it's a character, an assist trophy, or just a spirit. Pretty much every single Nintendo franchise has some representation in Smash Bros. And when Sakurai did come out and say that they are working on more DLC beyond the Fighter's Pass, he did talk about bringing in more worlds, more characters to Super Smash Bros., which could be taken as completely new characters to the series, which could imply all third-party and no first-party.
Adding more characters into the game means that more game worlds will be added to the series. And ultimately, that means that there will be an even greater opportunity to delight the fans.
But at the end of the day, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a fighting game, or a party fighting game, however you choose to define it, but it is a game of Nintendo characters who fight each other. That is the premise for Smash Bros. Sure, it's expanded and evolved to include other characters, and now Super Smash Bros. Is almost like a celebration of gaming, but at its core, it's a Nintendo fighting game. So for a Nintendo fighting game, I feel like it would be really weird if we get another character for this Fighter's Pass, and it's confirmed at this next Game Awards, which is really likely, and it's another third-party character, and then we get 5 more DLC characters after that with a second Fighter's Pass, and all of them are also third-party. Assuming you want to count that bonus DLC Piranha Plant character, which I really just feel like was a character they were just finishing up as the game was coming to its conclusion in development, so yeah, it's a DLC character. So let's include them, right? That is 10 of 11. 10 of 11 of the DLC characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, assuming that there's 5 more beyond this current Fighter's Pass, would be all third party. And if you perform the calculation, 10 divided by 11, that is 0.91 if you round up, okay? It is 9%, basically. 9% would be the total amount of Nintendo characters that would be the DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, assuming this current Fighter's Pass is all third party, and then the next one, as a lot of rumors are suggesting, is also all entirely third party. 9% of all of the DLC characters for a Nintendo fighting game will be Nintendo characters, while the rest are third party. I think that's weird. It doesn't seem to make sense to me, in my opinion. Of course, maybe it's simply what's left to do. Maybe Sakurai and the Smash team and Nintendo simply feel that they've pretty much gotten to that point in Smash Bros. Where there isn't really a need for any more Nintendo characters in the roster. Okay, I guess That is a possibility for sure, and I'm not trying to say that these third-party characters aren't cool. I think they are. I'm excited about Terry Bogard. I think Hero's a really cool character, and Banjo and Kazooie is a godsend. That is like the best DLC character of all time, and I really love it. And I'll even say that Banjo and Kazooie appeals to that Nintendo fanboy in not just myself, but a lot of us, because they have a root in Nintendo history as an actual Nintendo character to some capacity since, you know, Banjo and Kazooie and Rare, they made a whole bunch of Nintendo games back in the 90s. They were Nintendo characters back then. Nintendo had a stake in Rare. And let's say with this second Fighters Pass, we get Geno. Geno is a character from Super Mario RPG. Square Enix made the game, sure, so that's why they're technically third party, they own the rights to Geno. But for many Nintendo fans that enjoyed Super Mario RPG, Geno is a Nintendo character to them. So if we get another third-party character in the second Fighters Pass and it's Geno, you know, it still appeals to the Nintendo fan base. That's cool. But technically, we aren't really getting too many Nintendo characters for the Smash Ultimate DLC so far. So is that what's going to happen? Perhaps. But if you go by some of the more credible leakers, such as Sabby, a lot of the names that he's hearing are not the names for the fifth character. And those names include Ryu Hayabusa, the Doomslayer, Crash Bandicoot, Geno, and even Dante more recently. According to his source who knows who the fifth character is going to be, those names aren't for the fifth character of this current Fighters Pass. That doesn't mean they can't come in the second Fighters Pass, but those aren't the names that they are hearing for the final character for this Fighters Pass that we all sort of expect to be revealed at the Game Awards. All of those seem like really likely third-party characters, and with the recent Spirit Pack of Resident Evil, it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting a Resident Evil character for the fifth spot of this Fighters Pass. Now, I'm not trying to say that I think Spirit's deconfirmed characters for sure, but if you're going to come out with a Spirit event for a whole bunch of characters right before the announcement, I don't really feel like that makes sense. I think they would do that maybe afterwards, and it would be the surrounding characters on top of the next Resident Evil character. I just don't think it really makes sense to do it in that order unless they're just not going to be a part of this Fighters Pass. So I'm simply going to ask the question, what if the reason all of these popular third-party characters such as Doom Guy and Ryu Hayabusa and Dante and Crash are not really being considered to be the fifth fighter according to leakers who actually know about who the character is going to be, is maybe because it's not a third-party character. Maybe it's not a third-party character and it's actually a Nintendo character. Which would go against the pattern, it would go against what Reggie suggested at last year's Game Awards. It should not be expected, and I'm going to say that I don't necessarily expect there to be a Nintendo character to end off this current Fighters Pass. But what if they did? I mean, come on, think about it. This is a DLC pack for a Nintendo fighting game that currently has no Nintendo characters. If they did have a Nintendo character in a DLC pack for a Nintendo fighting game, I would say that kind of makes sense. So then, who could it be? Well, there is one pair of characters I have in mind that I know not all of you would be in love with, but some of you would be. I've talked about them for a while, and I think it kind of makes sense. Those characters are the characters that were somewhat pseudo-deconfirmed in the final Smash Direct, and I'm talking about Rex and Pyra from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. You see, we got the Mii costume for Rex, and we got Xenoblade Chronicle 2 music and spirits in the game. So a lot of people were sort of led to believe that, hey, that's it. That's what we're getting for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's the representation that's going to happen. But if you go back and you watch that part of the final Smash Direct, the reasoning that was provided as to why Sakurai was not bringing in Rex into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a playable character, it wasn't because he didn't think they were worthy. In fact, we know that Sakurai loves Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and he actually considered it. That was noted in the Smash Direct, but timing was not in their favor at the time. But now, we are past the base roster. We are now looking towards the second round of DLC for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. What if, now that time has passed, they have had the opportunity to develop Rex and Pyra as an actual character or characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? I think there's definitely a chance of that. I'm not saying that's what the most likely situation is here, but I think there's a chance of that. And if they were to reveal a Nintendo character to end off this current Fighters Pass, I don't think that would be crazy or nonsensical. But I also agree the pattern suggests another third-party character. But if you've been following Nintendo, you may have recognized already that they don't always abide by the patterns that they set themselves sometimes. So maybe they'll surprise us. I think they'll surprise us no matter what, regardless of whether it's a Nintendo character or a third-party character. But what do you guys think? Let me know who you guys think is going to be the final character in this current Fighters Pass, what kind of characters we could be getting in the future, and if any of them will actually be Nintendo characters, or if they all will be entirely third-party moving forward. I'm curious what you guys have to say. Anyways, everyone, those are my thoughts on the matter, but that's all for now. This is AndresRestart. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Take care. Have a good one.